Dear colleagues, dear conference organizers, thank you for the opportunity to present the report. Dear colleagues, we would like to bring to your attention a report on the topic Digital Modeling of the Ecophilic Tendencies of University Students' Consciousness. The authors of the study are Oksana, Klochko, Fedorets, Oleksandr, Sharyhin, and Kaplinskyi. At present, for relevant interrelated and interdependent strategies can be identified in education, actualization of human potential, innovation, humanization, and equalization, which are implemented on the basis of student-centeredness, partnership pedagogy, value-based education, competence-based and activity-based approaches. Accordingly, we comprehend the leading importance for future of the ecologization of education and pedagogical science and practice, which are crucial in the formation of Homo ecologicus. Ecologization is primarily aimed at developing ecophilic tendencies of student consciousness, which are considered as ethical value, semantic, and emotional value foundation of Homo ecologicus. A relevant aspect of ecologic transformations of consciousness in the development of focus not only on self, on the S, but also in the S in the future literacy. The purpose of the study is to digital model ecophilic tendencies in the consciousness of university students. In our research, the methodology of modeling ecophilic tendencies of university students' consciousness was developed through the integrative application of mathematical and informatics approaches, as well as the use of methods of ecology, anthropology, and humanities. For example, to determine the optimal number of clusters in the datasets. We use the Hubert index and its graphical representation, hierarchical clustering with words minimum variance methods, words D and words D2, and its visual representation, distance matrix, and visualization based on it. According to the Hubert graphical methods, the optimal number of clusters is determined. The Hubert graphical method was implemented using the R language in the POSIT cloud environment. The NB class package was used. The Euclidean distance measure was used and an argument to calculate the different matrix. The graphical method based on the distance matrix was implemented using the R language in the POSIT cloud. In order to determine the cluster of objects, we used two clustering methods, k-means and canopy. Hierarchical clustering with word minimum variance method, word D and word D2, was also used to diagnose the optimal number of clusters. For this purpose, a distance matrix was constructed using the Euclidean distance measure. Words linkage is calculated as the within cluster sum of square within cluster inertia. The distance DC between clusters X and Y after their merging, and characterized the increase in the error sum of squares, ESS, when two clusters are merged at each step. We used our own methodological developments, namely the Fedorets questionnaire for determining ecophilic tendencies of consciousness. The study, which was conducted in 2021-2022, involved 166 university students, including teachers undergoing advanced training. Ecophilic tendencies of consciousness are aimed at actualizing anthropological strategies for achieving the goals of sustainable development not only through technological progress, but primarily through changes of human behavior, which is based on the formation of environmentally oriented human qualities. This determines the need to model ecophilic tendencies of consciousness. We have developed a definition of the concept of ecophilic tendencies. Ecophilic tendencies of consciousness are a system of intentions oriented of consciousness, values, meanings, attitudes which are manifestation of biophilic dimensions of human nature. Let's analyze the result of the Fedorets questionnaire for determining ecophilic tendencies of consciousness, presented in Figure 1 according to each question of the test. The answer yes, make as 1 in the diagram, is represented by the highest percentage of responses to all the questions in the questionnaire. It reflects the lowest intensity of a positive response in almost all the questions studied. The percentage yes answer is approximately 50% with a range of reactions of about plus minus 10%. At the same time, the lower intensity of positive response combined with a significant number of people who have it about half, and directly indicate is instability of the existing ecophilic tendencies of consciousness. In addition of the answers to question Q8, I feel sorry when all trees are cut down that might still be growing, and Q9, it is painful for me watch that each being convert in concrete and asphalt without any urgent need. Negative answers amount 31.3% and 33.7% respectively. In order to determine the groups of students according to the degree of manifestation of ecophilic tensions and values, we will apply cluster analysis. Let's determine the optimal number of clusters in data set that represents the result of testing. In the process of applying the Huber index, the results are presented in Table 1 and Figure 2. According to Table 1, according to the majority rule, the number of cluster 3 received the most proportional is 14. The value for also proportional of the number of cluster 2, and according to Figure 2, the index plot a significant near in observed at the number of cluster 3. According to Figure 2, the index second difference plot, the significant peak is also observed is the number of cluster 3. As a result of using hierarchical clustering based on Worth's minimum variance method to diagnose the optimal number of clusters, the results are shown in Figure 3, Figure 4, and Figure 5. The selected clusters in this figure are highlighted by red frames. Thus, according to the results of hierarchical agglomerative clustering based on Worth's minimum variance method, based on visual analysis and consideration of possible interpretation of the clusters in Figure 3, Figure 4, and Figure 5, it was found that clusters 2, 3, and 4 can be more clearly distinguished. Let's analyze the visualization of the results of dividing objects into groups based on distant matrix computation. Please look Figure 6 and Figure 7. As a result of analyzing the visual representation of the division of objects into groups, we can conclude that in Figure 6, 3 groups of objects can be clearly distinguished, although some objects are located on the border of cluster 3 and 2. In order to not lose unique clusters of data that are grouped into respondent groups based on the results of testing in accordance with the specific features of the degree of manifestation of ecophilic intentions and values, please look Figure 7. The number of classes 3 and 4 was chosen for the study. Thus, it has been established that the optimal number of clusters into which is recommended to divide the object of the test results using in our study is 3 clusters, Table 2. In order to lose the unique clusters of data that are grouped into the respondent groups based on the result of testing in accordance with the specific features of the degree of manifestation of ecophilic tensions and value, the number of clusters 3 and 4 was chosen for the study. We will use the k-means and canopy methods of cluster objects. Let's analyze the result of dividing the data of the test results into 3 clusters using the k-means method. The result of dividing the object into 3 clusters using the k-means method are presented in Table 3 and Table 4. Cluster 1 contains 30% of data, which is 50 instances. Cluster indicates the presence of a rather stable ecophilic orientation of consciousness. Cluster 2 was formed on the basis of the answers of 70 people, 42%. The cluster represents a group of people who have an ecophilic orientation of consciousness with a low degree of intensity of manifestation, as well as those who have no or no ecophilic orientation of consciousness. Cluster 3 contains 28% of the data, which amounts of 46 instances. The cluster relevance the presence of a rather stable ecophilic orientation of consciousness with a high degree of intensity of manifestation. Let's analyze the result of dividing the data of the test result into 4 clusters using the k-means method. Table 5 and Table 6 show the result of distribution of objects into 4 clusters using the k-means method presented in Table 6. The presence of a fairly significant set of objects, 28% of people forming cluster 2, and accordingly having stable attendance of ecophilic consciousness, and the transitional group represented by cluster 3. 5% of all represents. For the object of cluster 1, 42%, and cluster 4, 25%, we consider the strategy of equalization relevant, of which the leading aspect of the idea of harmonization aimed at the constructing at the mental level a harmonious and existentially oriented interaction with the environment and revealing the cognition of the higher meanings of Gaia S and biophilia. In the process of applying the canopy method, the division of objects into 3 clusters did not give optimal results in terms of interpretation. So, the study presents the division of objects into 4 clusters using the canopy method, see Table 7 and Table 8. The algorithm assigned 76 data instances to the cluster 1, which is 46% of the answers. This cluster reflects the dominant group. At the same time, into this group, the dominant ecophilic intentions and values are characterized by the lowest degree of manifestation or intensity. Therefore, we consider them unstable. Cluster 2 contains 25% of data, which is 42 instances. The cluster reveals a rather stable ecophilic orientation of consciousness with a high degree of intensity of manifestation. Cluster 3 was formed in the basis of answers of 36 people, 22%. At present, the group of people who have both an ecophilic orientation of consciousness with a low degree in intensity of manifestation and people who have no low level of ecophilicity. In conclusion, the cross-cutting idea in these studies is the importance of psychological, value, cognitive, and behavioral factors in the development of environmental awareness and behavior, which largely overlaps with the interpretation of the results of our study of ecophilic tendencies of consciousness. Accordingly, we point out the importance of the existential and harmonizing aspects of equalization, which can be presented as a purposeful strategy. The obtained models for dividing objects into 4 clusters are similar, which indicates the effectiveness of the k-means and canopy algorithms with such data structures and confirms the adequacy of the constructed cluster structures. These models are dominated by clusters with a slight development of ecophilic tendencies of consciousness, 42 to 46%. The ecophilic clusters, 25 to 28%, with a medium and high level of ecophilic tendencies of consciousness, is defined as the system organization 1. In quantity terms, this feature is quite significant, indicating the formation of stratum of model individuals who are active carriers of the ecological idea, which is relevant for social culture, ecological transformation. The transitional clusters, 5 to 7%, is also defined, which indicates the presence of ecological potential in the cluster with the lowest level of ecophilic tendencies of consciousness. This is in line with the ideology of the Sustainable Development Goals aimed in unlocking human potential. University students are dynamic and socially active group, and accordingly, they can act as agents of environmentally oriented changes in the social, cultural, professional, and scientific dimension. Therefore, an important social and social psychological aspect of modeling ecophilic tendencies of consciousness is the analysis of the formations of these tendencies in university students with the corresponding development of ecologization strategies. The results of the study of ecophilic tendencies of consciousness are taken into account in the development of strategies for the ecologization of higher education students. Two directions of ecologization and conceptualized, which can be simultaneously represented at the same level, existentially harmonizing and aesthetically harmonizing. The existentially harmonizing direction of ecologization is largely reflective, existentially cognitive, internal directed, and oneself, and improved, largely directed on oneself and self-knowledge. and contextual as well as connected with the subconscious dimension of the psyche and the collective unconscious. The aesthetically harmonizing direction is dominated by external and introverted, directed to the outside world, emotional and cognitive orientation. It is both rational and emotional. At the methodological and metacognitive levels, the process of ecologization is structured in the basis of the above directions, existentially harmonizing and aesthetically harmonizing, and is used to develop ecophilic tendencies of consciousness, in particular of future mathematics teachers, students of informatic technology, and improve the health-saving competence of physical education teachers is a system of which the ecological aspect is a significant factor for health preservation. Dear colleagues, the report is over. Thank you for your attention.